Welcome to part one of a summary presentation of a one-hour workshop the Coast Federation of Educators presented to its members in March 2010. This presentation provides an overview about social networking as it relates to faculty who may consider using it personally or integrating it in some way to their instruction. Specifically, we'll focus on Facebook as one of the current major players in a growing field. We'll briefly cover what social networks are, a few of the many features available in Facebook, and some cautions. There's much more to think about, discuss, and unearth about social networking. We aren't experts here, but are merely presenting this information to help increase awareness about the pros and cons of social networking at work. Here is a definition I made up after reading several articles about social networking, none of which defined it, as if we already knew what it was. Basically, social networks are services that link people so they can interact virtually via email, instant messaging, and blog-like posts. Should we use social networks? Are they helpful or a problem? It's not an easy question to answer. The EDUCAUSE Learning Initiative provides some pros and cons about social networks. One of the problems is Facebook addiction. Many users report that they are unable to manage or control the time they spend on Facebook. For those of you who have used Facebook, you'll understand the next negative aspect of Facebook. Due to the confusing paradox of Facebook appearing to be private, such as email is to some extent, while instead actually most of the communications between members are very public, many users seem to lack the discretion to present themselves appropriately online. Now, on the pro side, students can build connections on social networks that make them feel they belong and are accepted. If social networks can be appropriately used in the education setting, there's a potential to positively impact retention, since many studies show a direct relationship between retention and a student's feeling of belonging to an institution. On the negative side, research indicates that some people equate their self-worth with the number of Facebook friends they have, so there are some self-esteem issues related to social networks. Yet on the plus side, because social networks connect people based on mutual interest, niche relationships can develop, which can have a positive impact on self-esteem. Another negative is that as people create their own profile details, there is little assurance that members have accurately represented themselves. It appears that social networks can help discover who they are and how they relate to others, which is developmentally important and positive. There are still many unanswered questions about libel and copyright issues as they relate to social networks. We'll talk a bit more about that later in this presentation. Finally, social networks provide the potential for students to augment their professional connections. So as you can see, as with most tools, there are pluses and minuses to social networking. 4 positive implications for teaching and learning are: 1. These networks provide students with choices about using technology in creative and useful ways. 2. They have the potential to help our students learn about appropriate citizenship online. 3. They emphasize the importance of creating content instead of simply consuming it. And 4. Students express themselves by communicating and assembling profiles that highlight their talent and experience. So we, as educators, are presented with the challenge of seeking to understand the elements that millions of students find so compelling, and to incorporate those elements, where appropriate, into our teaching and learning. Some facts about Facebook, which is free, by the way, no charge, but you have to endure some advertisements on the pages. More than 400 million active users, half of which log on every day. Most users have connected with 130 of their friends on Facebook, and they spend an average of more than 55 minutes on Facebook every day. On average, they belong to 13 Facebook groups. It's difficult to deny that these are impressive statistics. For those of you who don't know, here's what the term friending means. It's integral to how Facebook works and what makes social networks a unique aspect of the internet. This is the top half of my personal Facebook page. When I log into Facebook, this is what comes up first. The design consists of a wide column running down the center of the page with a narrower column on each side of it. On the left column, I can see which of my friends are currently online. On the right column, Facebook suggests Facebook users who are not currently identified as a friend of mine, but since we have one or more mutual friends, might be someone who is my friend. In this case, Anne-Marie and I have 17 mutual friends. If Anne-Marie is my friend, I can click to add her as my friend. Facebook is also asking for my help in identifying people who may be friends of my friend Duffy. Most people are amazed as long-lost friends, even back as far as one's childhood, eventually pop up on Facebook. Next is posting on walls. The large center column of one's Facebook page is called one's wall. Here's a blow-up of my wall. You can see the 3 most recent posts by my friends. At the top, it always says, "What's on your mind?" If I answer that question by typing, for example, "You have no idea how glad I am it's Friday," that post will appear on my wall at the top as the most recent post. Here's how it will appear. But it doesn't only appear on my wall. It appears on the wall of each of my friends. And it's not uncommon to have a couple of hundred friends on Facebook, so it appears on all of their walls. And each of those friends has a couple hundred friends, and they can also see your post on your friends' walls. Many Facebook members don't realize that. So when you post and you feel like you're only sharing something with your friends, you are also sharing that information with all of your friends' friends. So what if I instead had said, "I'm glad it's Friday because I couldn't have put up with 1 more minute of student ineptitude"? Everyone has a rough week once in a while at work, and this wouldn't be that unusual of a thought for a teacher to have on occasion. But what might people who don't really know you, the friends of your friends, think of this remark if they read it and never met you? Or printed it out and kept it later, so if they took a class from you, they'd have that for reference. It's something CFE recommends faculty think about if they have an account on Facebook before they post to their wall. Choose your words carefully. It can't hurt. You can also post something on one of your friends' walls. That post also goes to each of your friends' walls, and their friends all get to see that too. The Facebook wall is blogging, not emailing. The good news is that Facebook has privacy settings you can adjust to limit the spread of your wall posts. But the privacy settings are a bit tricky, so review them and set them carefully for the way that you want them to be. For example, here you can see I have set posts by me to go to my friends and my networks. But when my friends post on my wall, these posts are only seen by me. Partly because of the public nature of wall posts, teachers generally do not friend students. As a matter of fact, my research did not turn up any recommendation to the contrary where students and teachers were concerned. And think 3 times before you post to your wall or your friend's wall. Is this really what you want to put out to the internet about what's on your mind right now? For an email-like experience on Facebook, use the Messages feature. When you send a message to a friend, it goes to their message inbox only, not their wall. It's very much like an email. Next, we come to the Groups feature. The advantage of a group is that anyone on Facebook can join a group. You don't have to be someone's friend. Just go to the group link. You can see all my groups I belong to appear here. And then click on Create a Group. Name and describe your group briefly, and that's all there is to it. Just notify those you want to know about it, and you can have a group for discussion, sharing photos and videos, etc. For example, here's a new group I formed for the students in my College 100 class to chat, ask questions, share information and ideas. Groups are a useful feature for educators as we can reach out to our students who are logged into Facebook without friending them. There are thousands of groups on Facebook. Here's one I belong to called Faculty Ethics on Facebook. Finally, we come to applications. There are tons of applications on Facebook. One to share with your students is Courses 2.0, which facilitates them sharing what classes they are taking, setting up study groups, etc. This concludes part 1 of the presentation. Locate part 2 at YouTube or our website now.